Hello, today I'm sharing an MTG message to go, and today I am talking about Philippians. A bit of background before I get started. It takes place when Paul was in a Roman prison, and he was not in the best of circumstances, but ironically enough, Philippians is known as the Book of Joy. But for a guy who's being tortured in prison, writing a letter to his friends, it doesn't seem like he'd have much joy. And this is just interesting to me, but as we see in Philippians 1:13, as a result, it has become clear throughout the whole palace guard and to everyone else that I am in chains for Christ. So as previously stated, Philippians is known as the Book of Joy, which, once again, strikes me as odd, considering he's in prison, and he is in prison for Christ. And that's just something interesting I thought about, but Paul better describes this kind of joy that he talks about through the rest of the letter in verses 2:17 through 18. But even if I am being poured out like a drink offering on a sacrifice, and service coming from your faith, I am glad to rejoice with all of you. So you too should be glad and rejoice with me. So Paul makes some pretty bold statements here, saying that even though he is in chains and in suffering, that he is grateful and happy for the Philippians. Not just that, but that they should be happy for him, and they should be happy with him just as he's happy. And he explains more of this a bit later in Philippians 4:12, saying, I know what it is to be in need, and I know what it is to have plenty. I have learned the secret of being content in any and every situation, whether well-fed or hungry, whether living in plenty or in want. So Paul describes what can only be defined as the secret of contentment, which is this thing he describes that no matter what circumstance or what situation or what manner he finds himself in, Paul will always find joy, whether he's in bad circumstances or good circumstances. And it just makes one wonder, what is the secret of contentment? We see in the next verse, Philippians 4:13, I can do all this through him who gives me strength. So Paul says that he can do all things through him who gives him strength. The him referred to here is Jesus or God. So he is saying that, even though he goes through hard times, or even though bad things happen to him, he's going to be okay, and he knows he's going to be okay, because God is with him, and God is there for him, and God is looking out for him. And I feel that this is very powerful and can be applied to our everyday lives, that, when bad things happen, we can turn to God, and that we can trust in God, and we know things are going to be okay. We don't have to worry about everything. We can trust in God and trust in his plan for us. Well, that's all for today. So glad you could tune in. I will see you next time.